People who metal detect on beaches, in parks, etc. What's your best find? My dad has been obsessed with metal detecting for the past 30 years. When he was in the Marines, at Cherry Point in the 80s, he found a plethora of dog tags spanning 40 years in class rings. They were all sitting in his quite literal treasure chest until he decided to start tracking down the family members. Mostly their widows or children. Of the men the dog tags belonged to over the last 5 years, and returning them along with a letter detailing when and where he found them. It's been so cool to hear stories from the families about who these men were and all they accomplished. They were all so happy to have that piece of their loved ones returned. I found a buried safe, and it had an entire family's passports, money clips with $700 worth of money, and 2 PS Vitas. Unusual to say the least. Reported it to the resort I was staying at, and it belonged to a family whose hotel room was robbed earlier that day. I'm still confused as to why it was buried. I was metal detecting a beach just outside of Tokyo and found a platinum wedding band. I was searching a different area when a local came and mimed that he lost a ring. Within about 5 minutes I got the clearest, loudest tone I have ever heard, and it happened to be the one he lost. His new wife was so happy and kept nudging him to give me something. He kept miming for drinks or cash, but I turned him down. It was amazing to be able to actually find the owner. And I had never found anything of real value up until that point. The look of relief on their faces will stay with me until the day I die. As a side note, I metal detected Singapore and a large crowd started watching. I found a super cheap vending machine quality ring and the entire group started cheering. It was absolute junk, but the vibe was awesome. I found an ox shoe on a road in the woods near my parents' house that is documented as having been used prior to the Civil War. There are several home sites in the area as well. Other finds in the road have included tobacco tins, dog collar, and a 1942 quarter. Someone with a metal detector found my husband's high school class ring on the banks of a local river. He had lost it during a rowing event about 15 years prior. The guy contacted my husband's high school and they tracked him down. I have the ring in my dresser right now. My husband didn't care too much, but I was amazed by the work the kind stranger put in. I mailed him a Buffalo Wild Wings gift card. Lol. Honestly, the best thing I ever found was a metal mustard gas can, and now it is in a local museum. A custom white gold tennis bracelet lined with diamonds and sapphires. Literally everyone tried to rip me off for it, so eventually I removed all the stones and would sell 2 to 3 links at a time for cash like some peasant from the Bronze Age. I was leveling my yard, and I found an entire rake buried. My wife does this. One time she gets out if she car to metal detect at around dusk, and a lady comes up and asks her to find her engagement ring. 45 minutes late she finds it. Lady Venmos her $300. Back when my neighbor was into metal detecting, I was curious what he could find in my yard because I live in a house that's over 100 years old. So I told him to have it so long as I can tag along. He found some horseshoes, some various metal bolts and pins, and a few other metal objects that were pretty much just bits of scrap metal. But the coolest one was a little steel toy car that I lost when I was a kid. I used to play with it outside in the dirt all the time, and it must have gotten buried in mud when the back of our property started to flood and get swampy. Rusted badly, but it was still recognizable. I found a small silver ring. I only detected for about a month before giving up the hobby. I figured out that the best ways to be successful is to either find a place with some history that's remained undisturbed or dig every hit. I didn't have access to the former, and there's just too much trash out there for the latter to be any fun. Just wasn't for me. My friend lost his wedding ring in a lake while splashing around with his kids. We searched the area and the water was only waist deep, but we still had to dive and feel by hand, which was an exacting task. We almost gave up when we spotted a guy with a metal detector, so we asked for his help. It took him half an hour, but he did find it. My friend offered him $100. But the guy refused and just had a couple of beers with us. He said just the fun and excitement of finding something that meant a lot to someone was more than worth it. I pick up litter. My best is an enormous floppy dildo with grass stuck all over it. Some teenagers in a parking lot leered at me and I picked it out of my bag with my grabber and they were like, "Gross. No way," and dipped out. I swear this to be the truth. My dad spent his summers in Ney, Pennsylvania when he was younger. One of his good friends began to date a girl. Things got serious. Vietnam was going on. The guy, young man, buys her a promise ring, and gets it inscribed. She loses the ring in the lake soon after he gave it to her. Fast forward like 35 years. Everyone has kept in touch, and this boyfriend and girlfriend are now married and grandparents. Anyway, the lake had to be drained to do valve work at the dams during the drain. One of the friends in the group takes it upon himself to search for this ring using a metal detector. At the big summer get-together, after dinner and in front of everyone, he unveils the lost ring and presents it to the couple. My mom said it was one of the most amazing things she had ever witnessed. I don't metal detect, but I enjoy following metal detecting to see what people find. Never found much with a hand-me-down detector as a kid, but I did end up with the strange habit of burying my toy cars with little notes, with the intention that someone like me excitedly finds them one day. Rip Grandma's backyard in Yakima. Been at it since 1999. Best to me means my oldest coin, and most valuable anything, coin, ring, etc., etc. So, those would be an 1853 seated Liberty dime, and a gold ring with 25 real diamonds. Handmade and unmarked, but I suspect is green gold. Also, the larger the silver coin the better. If I had ever found a silver dollar, that would be the best in that category. But I have only found 4 silver half dollars, 1940s Walking Liberties and 1950s Ben Franklins. I've also found some Civil War relics, mostly bullets, including 2 possible bite bullets. I do my metal detecting in dirt. No beaches where I live. When I was a kid in Santa Barbara, we were visiting the site of the original Presidio. They were still excavating parts of the site looking for artifacts. I looked down and picked up a gold decorative button from a Spanish military uniform. I showed to my teacher, but everyone said it was nothing. I think they took it from me. No idea what actually happened to it. As a kid, a handful of loose change, which a rude park employee confiscated. Apparently the rules against looting historical sites applied to coins I found in the parking lot. My family's house is in Selçuk, Izmir. While building the house, they found so many ruins. Museum didn't even take them all and left some behind. Mom has a column head as a planter at her house. Kids find antique figurines, rings, etc. all the time. There are codes they can dig only some percentage, etc.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.